Hello, friends, and welcome to a Friday edition of your Daily Detroit, sharing what to know and where to go in Southeast Michigan. It is, of course, Friday, March 11th, 2022. From east of Woodward, I'm Jer Stays.
And from north of Woodward, I'm Devin O'Reilly.
Wait. North? No, north? Like north? Okay, so you're north of Pontiac because it ends at Pontiac.
Way north, Jer. Way north.
Oh, way north.
And a little bit west, too. I'm actually up in Frankfort, Michigan.
Ooh, so like Sleeping Bear Dunes area.
Yeah, just a little south of Sleeping Bear Dunes. So we have friends up here, and I had never been to Frankfort or heard of Frankfort. But as I was thinking about it, it's one of those things where I feel like Michiganders know their Michigan towns. So I bet we have listeners who are very familiar with Frankfort, Michigan, although it's new to me. It is a lovely little town.
Yeah, you can kind of triangulate it, kind of a little bit north and west of what, Cadillac?
Yes.
And south and west of Traverse City.
Right on the lake there, near Crystal Lake, but right on Lake Michigan.
Oh,
really,
man.
Really nice. It's your classic. I mean, there's snow on the ground now, quite a bit of snow still on the ground, but your quintessential kind of up north Michigan town with the main street. It's got a coffee shop I've already explored. It's got a couple nice restaurants. It has a brewery, Storm Cloud Brewing. I got to shout them out. I was there yesterday. They do really good Belgian beers. So some triples, some doubles, Belgian beers, really good stuff. So Storm Cloud was a great trip, great visit yesterday.
Well, my dad's side of the family has that Belgian background, so I've always been a fan of the Belgian beers. And if I'm going up that way, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get a can now. Maybe I'll bring you back a souvenir.
Sir, you are ever so kind.
I'll bring you back a 5-pack, Jer. I'll have one, and I'll bring you back.
That's what we'll do. It's the friendly 5-pack.
There you go.
Speaking of drinks, what are you drinking?
So actually, Jer, it's a little festive, and I didn't even know this existed. I shouldn't say where I was at, Jer, because I got the last pack of this seemingly. It's a Guinness mint chocolate stout, which I had never seen before. I didn't even know Guinness did aged barrel stuff, but this is Guinness aged in Kentucky bourbon barrels. So it's like a high ABV. It's like a 10.8% ABV. It's really, really good, I gotta say. And you get a little bit of that mint. I mean, if you don't like mint chocolate, you're probably not gonna like this because you definitely taste the mint. It's a little sweet, but a nice little treat, maybe kind of a dessert beer. But I like it a lot.
I do love a good porter and a stout. I just don't talk about them that often, but there are many porters and stouts that I like. I like that dark kind of like oomph beer.
Now, you're not drinking beer though, are you?
No, although I'm not drinking anything particularly fancy. I have a bottle of Watershed bourbon that needs to be finished.
Okay.
And so I'm just kind of working it down with a little bit of Coke.
I haven't heard Watershed bourbon. What's that about?
That place is out of Columbus. Grabbed a bottle on a trip, and it's actually available in a lot of places, even if you wanted to go pick it up at Basil's Liquor Shop over there on Grand River. It's a solid, it's a solid middle of the road. It's a good one for mixers, and you can sip it and enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but to me you need to have a variety of levels.
Sure.
Because not every bourbon is appropriate for every situation.
Absolutely, Jer. I agree. You got to have you have to have the certain different levels of bourbon, the sipping kind, the kind you mix with, the kind you break out when there's guests over. So yes, you have to diversify your bourbon supply.
Let's start off with another fire in the Detroit restaurant community. There was Taqueria El Rey in Southwest and the yet-to-be-open Morningside Cafe on the east, now Mudgees. This one, though, is a bit different. It looks to be arson, according to the Detroit Fire Department. They say it was intentionally set on the outside of the building, but damage was mostly limited to the wine shop. So the good news is they will be reopened this weekend for the parade that we will tell you about later in the show. Man, what tough breaks for Mudgees, Devin.
Yeah, this has been a real rough year for the Mudgees family. So, our hearts go out to them. We support them. And you know what, Jared, what we have seen, though, is that the community, that Mudgees is such an institution in that community. And when they lost Greg, the community rallied around Mudgees. And I have no doubt that the community being the neighborhood, the business community there, will undoubtedly rally around Mudgees and provide provide support. So it is sad, but I think that Mudgees will be okay. Obviously, there wasn't any catastrophic damage, so they can still make their amazing sandwiches. Hopefully, maybe they have to restock wine and do some rebuild there. But I think the story will have a happy ending, Jer.
Just a reminder that although people talk about buildings and history and all that other stuff, the strongest thing about Detroit has been and always will be the people. All right, a quick little bit of kind of nonprofit-y, businessy kind of news. Hatch Detroit is becoming a project of Techtown. Now, we've had Hatch Detroit people on this show multiple times, kind of previewing, the votes for the contest. Kind of crazy one time in the studio. We had like 6 different businesses in like a little shipping container. It was absurd, but it was a whole lot of fun. But Hatch Detroit is now become a program of Techtown. For a long time, it was an independent nonprofit headed up by Victoria Katansky. And I just wanted to mention it that, one, I'm glad that it's found kind of a landing place in a difficult, funding environment out there with everything that's been happening. But also, Hatch Detroit is one of those projects that low-key has been helping a lot of places get started. And, the need and impact of it has changed over the years. In 2011, $50,000 did something different than it does in, 2020 as far as starting a business. But without it, so many names we know, from Batch Brewing to Metaphysica, the massage place, to La Feria, you can just keep going and going. There are so many businesses, retail businesses in Detroit that were touched by the Hatch program. And I want to give it and Victoria a shout out for the work they did, no matter what happens going forward. I hear there will be new contest details in the future. It's kind of in the Ned Stabler verse over there at Techtown. But I just wanted to take a moment and say, hey, that's a project that things actually are open and got started, and want to make sure that it gets a little bit of appreciation.
And I want to share in that appreciation with you, Jared, because obviously small business is a lot of what I do, what I live, and Hatch has been just such an amazing program to help support small businesses. I'm so glad to see that it's going to continue. For me, looking at this, we don't know a lot yet, but what it means is sustainability. Techtown has been around a long time, over 20 years now, really proven themselves to be an anchor for small business support, entrepreneurial support, and knowing that Hatch is going to be kind of under the Techtown umbrella tells me that it's going to be sustainable. It's going to be, funded for the foreseeable future, and it will continue to have a home. So that's really good news. A
viral video shows the floor of St. Andrews in downtown Detroit bending a ton. It was intense. The video looked up from the basement venue that's called The Shelter. That's below. Now, I always remember that floor feeling sus, Devin, but the city has, in fact, shut it down for at least a week. According to Fox 2, the city's inspector had concerns with the main floor, and they're going to wait until there is a report from a structural engineer. For their part, the Live Nation folks say that a floor joint came loose. The city is also investigating to see if the Baby Keem event was over capacity, which is 1,000 people. The building was built as home to the St. Andrews Scottish Society of Detroit in 1907. Devin, I was there a couple of weeks ago. I will say that it looked pretty shiny. It looked pretty nice. They seem to have done some upgrades, but man, this was something.
Yes, it's been a while since I've bounced around on the St. Andrews floor, but it was. I mean, it's an incredibly old building and such a venerable place for all sorts of different musical acts throughout the years. Hopefully, it gets some much needed repairs. But yeah, I've got to be careful at those concerts.
So in chain news, and I don't normally get into this, but I've had more requests to talk about it, and this is a place that a listener said that I cannot sleep on. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken is expanding. I'm going to try it. I have not tried it yet. Have you tried it, Devin?
Jer, I have not tried it, and I gotta say, this listener, I hope they're right, because I'm a little like fried chickened out. I feel like there's been tons of new fried chicken stuff opening up, so I'm kind of a little bit. I literally probably would sleep on this place because we've talked about probably 4 or 5 fried chicken places in the last year opening up.
And then even just before the pandemic, there was a wave of fried chicken places.
Yeah, so this better be really good, because I feel like we've got a saturated market for fried chicken.
I mean, he didn't say these exact words, but I would describe it as a childhood core memory good.
Wow. Okay. I mean, what are they doing differently?
So fried chicken, chicken tenders, chicken dippers, special sauces, and more than a dozen side dishes. They also, you can do livers and gizzards.
Okay, that's definitely something that you're not going to get at some of the other fried chicken places like Gus's or Dave's.
Apparently, there's one in Michigan on Ann Arbor Road in Plymouth. So before this happens, more than a dozen locations, according to a press release, are going to come. So before this happens, I want to go ahead and try it and do a little preview of what's to come. It's the same thing that is on my list to do for Savvy Sliders, because they're opening up all over the region as well.
What we should really do is have a ranking.
We should.
We might have to go for a fried chicken ranking with all these new places and let us taste the different offerings from chicken places and tell our listeners who is the top bird.
The top bird. I like that. And you know what? Listeners will know that Fletcher loves his crispy, crunchy chicken. I would love to see like Fletcher's picks that like with the, because it's gas station chicken, but he swears by it. It is good. So like, I want to meld all these things together. In fact, I'll probably even bring in some listeners for this one. I think this could be a lot of fun.
Yes, start sending in your chicken recommendations and we will get to tasting.
We're not going to cluck around on this, Devin.
Cluck, no.
Now, before we get into talking about events that are coming back and events coming up this weekend, I want to talk about NeighborHUB. This is a program, Devin, that is near and dear to your heart. $500,000 in grants, and full disclosure, like you're part of this program. Like we're talking to the guy.
Yes, nearest and dearest, actually. And I'm just not to toot my own horn a little bit, but I actually came up with the name NeighborHUB. So I was at the very inception of this program for the Detroit Regional Chamber and General Motors. So this is in its 4th year. We've been doing this. We've been able to increase. General Motors has been kind enough to continue to increase the grant amount that they've given the chamber. So we're up to $500,000 this year that we're going to be able to give to nonprofits and small businesses. And that's an important distinction because we previously had only done nonprofits. We had funded nonprofits. And this year we decided, through the pandemic and everything, small businesses obviously had been hit really hard. We wanted to be able to include them in this grant. And so we were able to essentially double the funding that we were going to give out and add 10 nonprofits will get $30,000 and 10 small businesses will get $15,000 for their businesses to make improvements, to help strengthen, revitalize neighborhoods. This grant is all about giving businesses and nonprofits who do work in the neighborhoods, in the communities, the opportunity to make their community a better place. So whether it be creating a grocery store or a farmer's market, whether it be creating a community garden, whether it be creating a computer lab, this is the type of stuff that NeighborHUB funds. And it's all about creating spaces and places that are going to only enhance these communities in Detroit.
Well, I love some of the projects involved with this. I mean, these are all obviously they're doing good work and doing interesting work, but I want to shout out some people and some people who've been on the show before. So Detroit Hive, Detroit Sound Conservancy. You've got Detroit is Different, which is great to see him get some stuff in the work he's doing with media in neighborhoods, which is absolutely great. Pingree Detroit's been on. Then some other folks I want to mention, the Motor City Grounds crew, Bailey Park Neighborhood Development Corp. I'm looking at this list and it's just runs the gamut of places that, I can see totally like they're going to put this money to good use.
near and dear to me, Ladder 4, the wine bar, that's a converted old firehouse. That's going to be so amazing. And they're going to use this grant money to create an outdoor stage for local music and live acts, so showcasing some local artists. That'll be amazing when the weather breaks. They've got a huge outdoor space, so I'm really looking forward to that. You've got Always There Mobile Notary, which I thought was really cool. This woman, Danielle, basically is a notary on wheels, so getting to senior citizens and people that can't get out and get things notarized. She's going to basically convert a Sprinter van into a mobile notary shop. I thought that was really cool. So this is going to be some really cool stuff. Looking forward to seeing all these come to fruition. You can check them out. We mentioned some of them, but if you go to DetroitChamber.com/NeighborHUB, there's a video to highlight some of these, and you can also look at and check out all the different nonprofits and small businesses that have been selected this year.
So where to go? That back half of our slogan has been almost dormant for 2 years. And do you know how excited I am that where to go is, I think, truly back?
On basically the 2-year anniversary of when it kind of stopped, we are back full force.
Remember we used to do the Man About Town segments? We can do those again?
We can.
We retired a bunch of stuff. That was the thing.
And this is the best. This is honestly the best time of year for About Towning, and I'm so excited that it is coming back. So we've got a few things. Let's get into it. There's some good stuff that's coming up in the next month.
Now, first off, opening day. The players and owners sorted their stuff out. Whatever you think about it, I know that we're going to talk about some of the changes to the game with Fletcher Sharp next week, which I'm excited to do. But April 8th, baseball back, a thing. When I was really worried, I am so glad to be wrong, thinking that we were going to be without baseball until July.
This was a really close call. I mean, I thought we were gonna be coming on the show today and lamenting that we lost opening day in 2022. But literally the day that they talked about canceling it, they came to the agreement, and we'll let Fletcher get into the nuts and bolts of it in the game. But I want to talk about the fun part of this. That means we're gonna get April 8th. Opening day is back on. It's Good Friday, which is going to be a great Friday because I love a Friday opening day, Jerry. I mean, you got to be honest. Opening day doesn't have to fall on a weekend. So, it just depends on the baseball schedule. So it's not every day every year we get an opening day on a Friday. So this is awesome.
I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of people who just that's the end of their week on Thursday.
Oh, for sure. A lot of playing hooky. And again, it's you don't have to play hooky as much these days because a lot of people are either flex scheduling, working remotely. So you know what? This is going to be, from all fun and boozing and partying aside, this is going to be really good business for the local bars in Detroit. So I'm excited to see that. I think people are gonna pack the bars, spend their money, and it'll be great for the local economy.
Who I think is going to be the big winner is that Buddy's. Right there, between the booze they serve, the pizza, the fact that they offer some food that's thick, to sop things up. I think that's going to be that Buddy's is going to be the winner out of all this for sure.
Oh, I think you're right, Jared, because that's basically, on your route. If you park over in the Foxtown area and you're walking to Comerica, you got to walk right past the Buddies, right? And you got Brass Rail over there on in Grand Circus Park. They'll probably do really well. What's the new Union joint called? Is it Union Assembly?
Yeah,
Woodward?
I went over there with engineer Randy the other week.
That feels like a place that's also going to do very well, right across from Comerica.
I would say their drinks are their strongest addition. The drinks are where it's at over there.
Nice, very cool.
Now, I will also say, before we get on to the other things, make sure to enjoy Detroit responsibly and treat it like you would your own neighborhood. Now, the St. Patrick's Day Parade is back this Sunday. It starts at 1 p.m. near 6th and Michigan Avenue in Corktown and runs down Michigan to 14th. I would say plan about 2 hours if you're going to enjoy this one. It is put together by the United Irish Societies, and I'll tell you, this is great to hear the drums, the floats, the revelers. They've been silent for 2 years because of the pandemic. Traditionally, it is one of the largest St. Patty's parades in the country. It can bring as many as 100,000 people to Corktown, which, I've been there multiple times. I used to live, a few blocks up Michigan. I can visualize the people, but the fact being 80, 100,000 people is just internally kind of insane.
It really is because, you have people who go down there and they they don't even spend much time on the parade route. They spend most of the time in the bar. So you've got all the people lining the parade route. Then you have all the people who are packed into the bars, and then the bars put up their tents. So you have people in the tents. I mean, it is a massive people. And again, good for the local economy. This is so great for the Corktown bars, places like Nemo's, places like the Gaelic League, and even Bobcat Bonnie's and Ottawa Via. All those places, they're going to do fantastic business for this parade. People are so ready to get back to this. This was one of the first things canceled in 2020. I remember when they canceled it. It was just skin of their teeth. They few days before this was scheduled to happen, they had to cancel it.
I remember hearing almost tears in your voice when we did that segment.
Oh gosh, what a sad day. Oh yeah. Man, we're much brighter, and the weather looks pretty decent. I think it's almost 50 degrees on Sunday, it looks like. So
this next thing coming up next week, and we're going to loop around with the dates a little bit in this segment. I apologize, but this ties together because it's also like the actual St. Patrick's Day. I saw this and I saw the weather, and I realized that Metro Detroit may very well pull their ripcord this weekend of fun and dive their beak into what may be a pretty insane midweek time.
I'm all about the day of, the actual holiday of St. Patrick's Day. No matter what day it falls on, that's when you celebrate, Jared. That's when you celebrate. And this year is lining up to be quite amazing. It's on a Thursday, not bad, good day. You can kind of maybe take Friday off if you need to, but it's looking like it's going to be our warmest day of the year so far. I'm looking at the weather outlook, 67.
Ooh, if we get near 70 on St. Patrick's Day, I believe it will be a bedlam of people.
Break out the shorts. I will have to bring out some green shorts or something. It's going to be, I don't know, Jared. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. I mean, the day of St. Patrick's Day, there's always some nice revelry. I'll probably hang out in the Corktown area probably because we've lost a lot of Irish bars, but there's still a few to hang out at. So, for people looking to celebrate on St. Patrick's Day, you still got Nemo's, you've got Gaelic League, you've got Nancy Whiskey's, you've got Grand Trunk, which is an Irish bar, used to be called Ferrand's. And then you've got Thomas McGee's in Eastern Market. So still some nice, and Old Shillelagh, let's give them credit. I mean,
oh, for sure.
Some people might not consider them an Irish bar these days. They're more of a club, but that second floor is still very much an Irish bar, and they're going to have live music. They're going to have tents. They're going to have a nice setup for St. Patrick's Day. So you can always check that out.
Well, and remember too, you can do this responsibly.
Exactly, Jerry. I mean, that's the way I'm thinking about it. I mean, there were years where St. Patrick's Day was an absolute, Mardi Gras on steroids.
And for some people, it'll be that way. There's gonna be that. I would say that if somebody's wearing the green hat and the beads and the tiara, it's probably get your poncho ready.
Yeah, you can tell. You can basically tell by how someone's dressed for St. Patrick's Day,
yeah,
how they're celebrating it. And I was that guy.
Well, this is not a call out. This is a recognition of our past.
No, do you? But these days I really stay away from the green beer. I would recommend not messing around with the green beer. All it does is turn your teeth green. It's just Budweiser with food coloring in it. So maybe grab a Guinness instead. That'll be good. Or grab maybe a Bushmills or some Tullamore Dew. Do it responsibly and enjoy your St. Patrick's Day. Maybe get some corned beef. That's always an Irish staple.
Okay, for the pro tip, let's say I want to shake it up past a Guinness. What would you recommend? What would be the next level?
I would go for a bourbon barrel aged stout. Those are my favorites. If you want to kind of graduate on from Guinness, Guinness is even a lighter stout compared to a bourbon barrel aged, but that'll give you a nice flavor. As I mentioned earlier in the show, they now actually bourbon barrel aged Guinness. So I think in the stout family, you're pretty safe if you like Guinness. But feel free to experiment. Like I said, you should check out maybe Batch Brewing, maybe a local offering. Batch Brewing, Eastern Market Brewing has some really good stouts. So I would check out Eastern Market Brewing stouts also.
Mentioning Eastern Market Brewing, let's just use that as a transition to talk about the official grand opening of Ferndale Project. EMBC is part of that kind of umbrella. Ferndale Project is at 567 Livernois, of course, in Ferndale, just south of 9 Mile. And you might say Ferndale Project's been open for a while, but they haven't had their grand opening because, pandemic. And so they were always pivoting and doing things. So they're actually going to have the proper party this Saturday. They've got their brewery, they're doing food. They also have their coffee window, but I wanted to make sure to give a shout out because it's a beautiful space. Dane has worked so hard and deserves to celebrate for making it through.
Yeah, it's such a cool space. I was out there actually last summer. So when I saw grand opening, I kind of was like, huh? But hey, it wasn't open inside. So this is truly a grand opening, for the inside. It was kind of all outdoor seating on the patio, which they have a beautiful patio out there when I was there. But yeah, Ferndale project is awesome. They have really, really good beers. So I'm looking forward to checking that out.
And then finally, another grand opening. This one is another one in the suburbs. Westland has a new place called Legendary Axe. That's at Cherry Hill and Newburgh Roads. And the cocktail menu includes a smoked old-fashioned, a blueberry gimlet, and lychee lemonade. And then on the food side, you've got flatbreads, sliders, and what they're calling lumberjack tots. And I am always a sucker for a good tater tot.
I gotta say, Jerry, it's one of those things where these axe places, I'm glad they're there and people seem to like them.
They really do. I've only been like once to the place in Ferndale. I need to get out there maybe.
I guess drinking and tossing axes around seems a little maybe dangerous for me. So maybe I need to expand my horizons and go check it out.
I don't want to say goodbye without saying some thanks. Thank you to Cheyenne Nocerini, producer extraordinaire, engineer Randy Walker, helping us sound good. Fletcher Sharp cannot wait until next week to talk about the Detroit City FC matches. And of course, thanks to you for listening and supporting our work. With that, I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Devin O'Reilly.
Remember that you are somebody that matters, to take care of each other, and we'll see you around Detroit.